Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. How is everybody? Still working out this light thing here. There we go. That's better. Apologies for yesterday. I got a bunch of packages in kind of early-ish in the morning. I was expecting them. And I just had a ton of things to do. I had like 40 pens that I needed to list. I had to get some new product up on the website. I've got new ink coming this week, and so I needed to work on getting some samples and stuff ready. Hey, Russell, Greyhound, Gary, how you doing? So I decided it was going to be a work day. I put my head down and I got almost everything done. So everything that I wanted done. Bunch of new stuff up on the site. I had a bunch of shipping to do, so it was just one of those days where, hey, Glenn, just decided it was. I need to get caught up every once in a while. So, and I know. Oh, look who's here in the chat. The Lisa Anderson. What are you doing? You should be working. Juicy. How you doing? You're not late. You're fashionable. I suspect with the number of you're on silent. Okay, very good. Very good. The number of days that I've taken off for work days has escalated over the past month or two, and I suspect it will only increase. Just wanted to say hi to everyone. That's nice. So we may eventually move down to a 3-day week, I think. I don't know if it's coming soon. It was just a really exceptionally busy day yesterday, and I was kind of tired, so I didn't feel like repairing pens. So anyway, that's what was going on yesterday. I'm trying to think. I got a couple desk sets that I'm working on, getting listed. Being too busy is a good thing. Yeah. I still need to repair pens, because if I don't repair pens, then it doesn't pay. It's stupid for me to go to pen shows, right? There's a balance there somewhere. I'm not sure quite yet where it is. But I don't have it here. Hang on, right back. I did get myself a pen yesterday. It was a new pen day. I believe this is probably, if how it works out, it's going to be my anniversary present, probably. I don't know, whatever. But I did get a new pen yesterday. And about halfway through the day, I decided I am not going to agonize over what ink to put in this pen. And so I just filled it with Sailor Blue. I'll show you the pen in a minute, but back probably 10 years ago, when we became Sailor dealers for the first time, and Lisa and I decided we were gonna get some pens, and they would be testers. Is new pen code for new desk set? No, it is not. It is not. I'll let you know when I find a new desk set. Well, my hair is all wonky today, isn't it? Holy cow. So 10 years ago, we decided we were building up our testers. And if somebody was going to buy a Sailor pen, at least we could have, Lisa would have a pen, I would have a pen, and somebody could try them out. So at the time, I believe Lisa bought a 1911 Standard in burgundy. I think it was burgundy. Probably with a medium fine or medium or fine nib or something like that. I don't recall. And I bought a 1911 Rialo in burgundy with gold trim. Now, back in, actually it's more than 10 years ago. There's been, I think it was probably about 2013, I think is when this was. The Sailor catalog was quite small. It was quite diminutive compared to today. And there wasn't much. And so I got this Rialo with the broad nib. Great pen. I love the color. Always looked great with, Okoyama or, some other. I for a while there, I was on a Mont Blanc Bordeaux kick. I don't know why, but I always looked good with the red ink in it. And the broad nib was great. And then I think in 2014, Sailor came out. We got one pen that year. I know. Y'all are thinking this is an April Fool's joke. This has never been the case, right? Sailor came out with one pen that year, at least for the for the U.S. market. And it was a 1911 Rialo in black with rhodium trim. That was the pen we got that year. Because it was only available in burgundy with gold and black with gold. And I believe it was also available in Pro Gear Rialo versions as well, but only black of gold and burgundy gold in that one too, I think. And so in 2014, they came out with black with palladium trim. And we ordered them, and I actually ordered one for myself. And for whatever reason, I don't recall the reason, I didn't actually pull it out of inventory. And I never got one. And so that was that. So this time around, Sailor dealer number 2, when we got the list of pens that were being discontinued, I looked, and they actually, of course, the Rialos, 1911 Rialos are going away with the 21 karat nibs, which they'll be replaced with 14 or 18. And we don't know the status of Rialos yet. Will they continue to make them? I mean, there's such a small percentage of they're literally 5 SKUs, I think. That's it. With the exception of some special editions that they make for I have a backdrop prop failure behind me. What's that? This here? That's my other apron. So anyway, we don't know what's going to happen. They may still make Rialos. They may just only be in 14 karat nibs. But they happen to have black with rhodium in a broad nib available. And this time around, it has the new nib. So it's got the new design on the nib. And so I thought it was fitting to celebrate this second time around with Sailor and get myself the pen that I wanted the first time. Or not the first time, but in addition to the other Rialo. And so I got myself a broad nib 1911 Rialo black and rhodium with Sailor blue ink in it. And it's everything I wished it would have been 13 years ago. So 12 years ago. So anyway, that's my new pen. I'm pretty excited to have it. There we go. Jason, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So it's pretty cool. For me, it's a little symbolic. The last time around, it was a pretty good run. We had a pretty good run there for a while. When we first became dealers. So, is there something? Is there something else up there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What is that? Oh, this is a light. I hate this thing. I really hate this thing. Ah. All right. Anyway, let's take a look at what we got on the bench today. Nothing me yammering on. There's the pen. I love this ink window. It's so cool. Piston filler and a sailor. It's great. It's just fantastic. All right, I'm going to start with this one because I really want to get this one off my bench. Oh, you were trying to do an April Fool's joke? Okay. Now this will stay on the bench as long as it needs to stay on the bench, but I really would like it. I would really like to finish this. At least we're going to move forward every day with, if this doesn't work, then we're going to move forward with whatever the next option is. I'm fingers crossed that this is actually going to work. All right. And yes, I have, you'll notice I have multiple beverages today. My usual Diet Mountain Dew, and then Lisa's leftover soda from lunch, and then I do have some coffee here. So, all right, fingers crossed on this one, folks. Oh, hey. The problem is it's a real tight fit. So that did work. The question is whether or not it actually went back and went back all the way. So I may have to pull it back out. But we'll see. We'll see what it fills up. How it fills up. I think we might have it. Okay, that looks good. Let's get... There's another sailor I wish I would have gotten. The Pro Gear full size in transparent green. What a wild color that was. Of course, you never know these things are going away until after you've sold your last one and you go to reorder. So, right's nice. Silicone sack, so it is going to be um, is gas permeable. So if you don't use it often, that it's going to evaporate, or it's also going to push ink toward the nib. But that, I think, will work. And we can close the chapter on this guy. And more importantly, it's one more thing off my bench. Not really. More important that the client gets their nice pen back. We thought about doing an April Fool's joke today, but decided against it. I thought, well, maybe I'll do one on the stream. I said, yeah. Invisible ink? Yeah, yeah. Don Esterbrick does that on eBay. The bottom part of the base is clear glass and the upper part is black. First time I'd seen one like that. It doesn't sound like anything that they actually made. Was it marked? All right. This was with this pen, so I'm just going to put this back together. I took it apart just because I want to make sure it's not getting scrunched up. Which I realize is now going to cause me some pain just trying to get this back in properly. All right, that's good. Now that I spun it out and filled it with water, that little guy can go home. All right, moving on. We've got this Conklin here. I'm really very tempted to try to take that clip off. If for no other reason than to clean it up, but there's the remainder right there of the old clip. Oh, okay. All right. So, Russell, what you got there Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can figure this out. Well, it's not that. There we go. Yeah, there's no identifying information on there. So what we got there is, that is actually what is referred to as a, that's a Estherbrook 444, I believe it's a 444Y Feedmatic dipless. 444Y for white. I know there's no Y in white, but that's what it was. And that pen is incorrect for that base. That is obviously a lever-filled desk pen that goes with a 117 or a 114, one of the colored 8 balls or slender bases. But that's the wrong, for sure the wrong pen for that. For that base. So you would have a standard dipless pen, probably usually in black for that one, and that's what that would be. Oftentimes you will see, for whatever reason, dipless sets with lever fill pens. I don't know why. I suppose people probably figure that's what goes there, but it's not correct. But the Feedmatic is a nice set. I mean, if you really need to have that 444, then it's, I don't know what the price is, but with the sticker, it looks nice. The pen is like super easy to find, I think I'm just going to leave this as is. I was thinking about taking this clip off. Starting price is $15. Yeah, it's worth that for sure. For sure, it's worth that. So if this was a clipless pen originally and it had that on there, I would maybe take that off. But I've got one clip, period, for a Conklin. But I don't know how easy this is going to be to get this inner cap out. And it looks partly damaged on the rim, which means it very well could break taking it out. Before I ink this up, I'm going to see if it actually fits in my spinner here. Okay, it does. Which is a ridiculous thing, but it's reality. Not that this needs to write. What did I say? It's from 1923. It's got a little softness to it, but because the tines are slit off center, I don't want to press it too much, but it's got some line variation there. Nice, nice pen. A pity that the nib is, even though the nib's got tipping, but a pity that it's cut off center like that. I mean, the chance of finding a correct number 5 size nib for that is we'll be waiting a while. Let's put it that way. Or you're going to spend a lot of money. Feels great. That's a super cool pen. Look at that long section. Kind of a big taper here. And somehow it fits into my spinner here. Not perfect, but functional. Actually, what I want to do. The nib almost could go in a little bit more. But we're going to leave it. Pretty cool pen. All right, this guy from yesterday gave us nothing but problems. This is the smaller of the two Jade Schaefers. We had a problem with the feed and the nib coming off the feed. So let's see if those adjustments yesterday make it right. They're quite tight. quite there. Super tight, huh? Shouldn't have to press that hard. There we go. These nibs are so thick that they're really hard to get if they, if they get stubborn. You really got to put some effort into. Yeah, it's pretty close, but not quite perfect. That'll do. So I know there was a question. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or on a repair stream. I think it was on the podcast, maybe a couple weeks back, regarding a sailor doing another anchor drop for April. Now they do them. Apparently, they do them most months. but not every month. There is one, I was just notified about it like 2 days ago. There is going to be an anchor drop for April. Now, unfortunately, they didn't give me any notice, hardly any notice, so I have some pens that are incoming that will apply for this anchor drop. But obviously, today's April 1st, I don't have them. So I will be having some. So there will be a 1911 standard that is coming for the anchor drop. 14 karat gold nib. And there will be very limited supply. So details forthcoming, but stay tuned for that. In case you want to take it, last month's anchor drop lasted, and I might be over exaggerating here, but it was maybe 2 hours, and then all the pens were sold out. So. Never seen a vintage Denison desk set, ink bottle, dip pen, palm, and Esterbrook Nibs office ephemera. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a whole lot of word salad there, Russ. You know what I gotta do? I gotta do this. Discount is on anchor drop is always 40% off of retail. Pen Addict. Raiden with 103. Hello. Welcome. Y'all missed all the fun already. No, just kidding. Send me a picture. All right. Very good. Look at this. Olive. How you doing? From Corolla. Brash and Sassy. Man, I love that. That's a great name. T.U. Lee, 83. Good to see you. Tracy Vandermeer. Welcome. How's everybody doing today? We got a couple desk sets here. Desk pen day. Yeah, it is. I've got 2 desk sets. You like the plaid? You like that? Isn't that nice? Here's the best part about this. The backside is a nice little denim. Lisa's mom made this for me quite some time ago. So. Hey, Spicy. Daddy, you're back strong as steel. Yeah, tons of people to carry. You betcha. Recovering from back-to-back bench shows this week. Oh, have you? All right. Hi, Brian and Lisa. Lisa's in here somewhere, or she was earlier anyway. Kudos to Mom. Yeah, she does a good job. She's all right. Rumor has it. And Lisa's not real great about surprises, so I didn't know about this, but like 30 seconds after her mom went back, Lisa's like, well, I talked to my mom about making you a new apron. Speaking of the best wife ever, you should come in and say hi to everybody.
Who's the best wife ever?
You are the best wife.
Brian loves my job.
What is this? What is this?
A patient brought us in goodie bags, and it's all
Look at all these people saying hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody.
What is it? Oh, is this a Kit Kat? Oh, man, you are the best.
I am the best, yeah.
Kit Kat bunnies.
Yes.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Oh, this is fantastic.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So,
Are
there you go.
Are you still in the chat? Are you still in the chat?
No, it cut me off. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right.
everybody.
Look at that. Happy
So
Easter.
yeah, so it's a patient who brings in stuff for all the major holidays.
I tell her she's got to come back for a checkup.
She's coming back in May.
Well, that's like a month from now. What about next week? That's not
We have patients who bring us in all sorts of goodies because Doc is known
He is known
everywhere. He's a hometown local boy, and everybody knows him. His track coach and his, yeah. So there you go.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you.
Don't say I never gave you nothing.
I know. Well, I got to open this up now, don't I? I mean, it would be rude not to at least look at what's in the. Look at that. Oh, man. Easter bunnies. Look at that. Kit Kat and Reese's. I love it. Kit Kat bunny? Yeah, check that out. Check that out. A Kit Kat bunny. Love it. Look at that. All right. I need to do more time on the bike. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Gary? Ain't that the truth? All right. Pennsylvania's Peeps headquarters. Yeah. All right. I'm going to eat these later. My hands are kind of all inky already, so, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've ingested ink and chocolate at the same time, but all right. Very good. All right. So, yeah, I got a couple of desk sets, and then we were putting this guy together, and the taper broke, so I said, well, why don't we just, we didn't put the new sack in here, did we? I don't remember. Anybody remember what we did here? I mean, this was so long ago. And then this sort of got lost on my bench. I don't think I pulled this. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So we are going to, it just is easy to start over as it is to, although I could just pull a taper off. We could do that. What kind of nib do we have on this guy? We could just make the best of all. Well, that looks like kind of like a medium-ish nib. That looks nice. I like that. Look at that nib. So yeah. So anyway, I'm getting, Lisa's mom is making me a new apron. Although I've already got an O-ring in there, so why don't we just do this the sensible way? And let's just pull this taper off. How's Hans? He's, I don't know where he is. I have not heard from him today. Why does this not? Okay, so we know this is cracked. But as they say, trust and verify. Because, now I can't see it. Oh, you know what? I betcha. Oh. Yeah, it's broken. Okay, so but any of these three pens will work on the base that I'm going to outfit it with. First things first, though. Tape the taper. Very important to do that. If you don't know, that's the international sign of there's something wrong with this part. In my world, it usually means it's cracked. Okay, before we go through the trouble here, we'll just take a look. I'm sometimes a little bit superstitious, so I like to use, if this screw went with this taper, that's the one I want to put in there. Nothing wrong with the other one. It should work just fine. Gasket looks good in there. All right, fingers crossed. Ooh, that's good. That's good. You see that come out there? And it didn't come out anywhere else. Yeah, I can't wait to have that Kit Kat, man. Well, you know, the sad thing is, Lisa and I are going to go on a diet pretty soon. Except for the fact that we have a ton of non-diet food in the fridge, and with the price of today's groceries, I'm not leaving any of that stuff. Not throwing any of that stuff out. So we're going to try to do, yeah, you don't want to tempt fate with the pen gods. Yeah, no, yeah. We're going to do keto again. We did that quite a number of years ago, and it worked. It was quite successful. We each lost quite a bit of weight. And despite riding 120 miles a week on the bike and, 6 to 8, yeah, probably 7 to 10 hours a week on the bike, I still eat more than I should, so we're going to see what we can do. You've lost 47 kilo over the past 2 years? Wow. I've got this fancy scale that's Bluetooth, and it's supposed to sync with, well, I've got this roundabout way of getting it to sync with Swift. I have to sync the scale to Fitbit, and then the Fitbit app syncs with with Zwift. But I don't have a Fitbit. Haven't had one in, I don't know, 15 years probably. And it works about 20% of the time. I usually end up spending more time trying to get the thing to work than it would be for me just to record the weight. Well, that came out. The trick here is not to push the rod. You have to get it kind of at an angle, because otherwise you end up running it through the hole and then making the hole larger. And then your snorkel tube doesn't sit in there. And it just comes out. Hello, is there a way to make a pen write a little less wet? Yes. There's probably a number of different ways, but probably the most common way would be to close this gap on the tines. You know, look and see, and usual caveats apply here. If you're not familiar with nib adjustments, don't try to do it yourself. Have someone show you, or have someone else do it for you before you ruin a good pen. But you can close that gap a little bit, which will cause less, there we go, less ink to flow down the feed through the end. That makes sense. Sorry, I was trying to get this out at the same time I was trying to talk. But it is possible. Absolutely possible. Usually the problem is the other way, that the tines are too tight and you have to open them up so you can get some flow. But it needs to be done the right way. You can't just do it. You can't do it this way. You know, I mean, the tines have to be spread roughly fairly evenly with a little bit of a, you know, they come almost, you know, kind of a nice taper toward the end of the tip. Little knowledge is a dangerous thing, as Tower of Power would say. So if you're not familiar with that, please do not try it yourself. I guarantee the first nib you work on, you will probably screw up. Let's see. I'm just going to put this other one back together here. Just so I got everything in one place. The rest of this pen is good, so. If I find another taper, which is not going to be too difficult, we'll be in good shape. All right. So I'm going to need a sack, and I need a point holder gasket. So I got to step over the side here. Boy, it is a good day. Chocolate. Finally fix that Waterman. You were tempted to do it yourself, but too scared to mess it up even more. Well, what kind of pen is it? I mean, I'm not saying you should mess it up, but if you've got something like something with a Yovo nib or something that's easily replaceable, as long as you understand the concept, it's worth giving it a try. I would say it would be in your best interest to try to get to a pen show where Richard Binder doesn't get to many pen shows anymore, but he does a nib tuning and smoothing workshop, and Linda Kennedy is doing some of them now too at shows she goes to, and maybe sit in on one of those. Now sometimes they'll have a fee for the class because you get some materials. And then you have the option to audit. Most of them, you have the option to audit the class. Which means you don't get any materials; you just get to watch. So if it does get sold out, I mean, at least audit it for sure. Is there a good source of repair information on Rotring? Not that I know of. That doesn't mean it isn't out there. Oddly enough, today, I was looking for something in the office, and I was pretty sure it was in one of 3 boxes, and sure enough, it was. But first box I pulled out, I was looking for these little round stickers. And I wanted to mark certain boxes. An Esterbrook pen, is that a modern Esterbrook or a vintage Esterbrook? Because it makes a difference. Well, let's determine if it's modern or vintage. If it's modern, I mean, yes, most of them are replaceable, whether it's modern or vintage. It's a modern one. Okay, so your modern one has a standard Yovo nib. So if you screw it up, you can either buy a replacement Esterbrook nib, and prices start at about $25. It's not free, but it's not 150. It's not, you're not dealing with a 14 karat nib that, or you can get any other Yovo. In fact, tomorrow I'm getting in unbranded Yovo nibs, nib feed and collars, the whole unit. You can even do something like that. So, and usually the way Richard will teach that, and again, you want to be very careful with how you do this. The way Richard will teach closing those tines is to press down and over and inward, and do one and then do the other, and you'll hear them kind of click together, and then that will just gradually close this gap a little bit. Look at it, make sure there are lines, and then test, and then do it again, so that kind of thing. But anyway, so I was looking for these little stickers that I wanted to put on some things, and I found this box that I forgot I had, because that sort of happens around here once in a while. It was a huge box. Actually, what it was is it's an old box, used to be used back when Schaefer was, Schaefer, before Schaefer sold to Cross. That's how old this box is. That's what they used to put all the if I buy, if you buy 50 Schaefer pens, it comes in this big box. In fact, it even had Slovenia on the side of it. A whole bunch of empty boxes. Where am I going? I'm rambling on about this. A whole bunch of empty boxes. A lot of Parker boxes, unbranded boxes, and then for whatever reason, 2 Rotring boxes, including one in the sleeve. I save them in case I run into a Rotring or something, or some other pen, and then I can put it in a box. The problem is I always forget I have the boxes. Or I decide I don't want to get rid of them, which is kind of dumb. This on there. Let that dry. Put it in our point holder gasket. Oops. Okay. That's good to go. The barrel end is good, so we just got to wait for sack to dry, which will be tomorrow. And we're going to move on to this guy. I've got another Parker Magnetics base. This is some Schmutz we're going to polish off of there. I'm fresh out of 51 desk pens. I wish I had more, but I've got this, what looks to be a crack-free 21. We'll find out in a minute for sure. Nib looks good. Nope, sure doesn't. Sure doesn't look good. There's a huge crack, like there always is on these. It literally runs, and this is why. And I know this is my appeal to beginners in the vintage end of it. And a lot of people say, oh, 21 is a great pen. 21s are great. if they're good. If they're not good, they're the worst things on the planet. And they should just all be destroyed. This has a crack that goes from here all the way down here. Which is too bad because it looks like a decent sack. But it's going to leak. Yeah, it's coming out the crack. And people will see them at antique stores, at shops, and they'll pick it up. And basically what they've done is they get excited, and I'm all for that. I really am. But this is just for me, it's such a polarizing pen because it leads to a negative experience. In that now all of a sudden you've got a pen that you can't use. You've spent money on it, and in some cases good money. And I know, sometimes people, they get into this hobby and they don't have a lot of money, but they got it for, it was $5 or whatever it was. And then they start throwing good money after bad, and they try to get it repaired. Well, that's no good either, because the repair is still worth more than the cost of the pen. And there's no guarantee, unless you have a hood that's already off, there's no guarantee you're not going to break the hood putting it back on or taking it off another one. So know the difference between a 21 and a 51 if you're looking at these pens. And they're really pretty easy. They're pretty easy to identify. Probably one of the easiest ways is the clutch ring. And yes, I know there are some 21s that use the 51 style clutch ring. But for the most part, most of them have this style clutch ring, which is actually a 3-piece unit. There's a thin washer, there's this middle part, and then there's another thin washer. They almost all will have this open. Now this one actually says Parker 21 on it. 51s usually say Parker 51 on the, if they're an aerometric, they'll say 51 on the housing. Which they can have an open housing like this on a 51 special. But just look here. If you can't take the barrel off and it's got a 51 style clutch ring, then it's a 51 back. If there's a little blind cap on the end. But yeah, that's the biggest, easiest way to identify it. They'll all have steel nibs. There's no such thing as a gold nib 21. Although there are steel nib 51s, so you got to be careful. So you could have a steel nib 21 with a 51 style hood and a 51 style clutch ring, but it's still a 21. That's still the same problem. You'll notice this has a huge opening. 51, do I have one here? '51s all have this style, this small opening. 21s can have a small opening, but they will often have this larger, much larger opening. That's a 51 hood. And 51s always have this style of clutch ring. You can see it's a 1-piece unit. It's got a little indentation in the middle. So there are certain things that sort of overlap between the two pens. But but 51s always have certain things, and 21s always have certain things. And, you know, I just say, you know, unless you're buying it from a reputable dealer, stay away from any 21 you see at an antique store, estate sale, anything like that, unless it's like dirt cheap. Like, and by dirt cheap, I mean $5 or less. Unless you got a lot of money to throw away on building a parts pen box, you don't need one that bad. But it's how we learn. So, you know, go ahead and buy one. Even if you don't see a crack, you might still have one. That's the problem. So, if any of you have been around here long enough know that that's one of my most favorite rants is ripping on the 21s. All right, so that we got to wait on. These need to go back in the bin. All right, let's see what else. I pulled a couple more pens to start today. I know I had pulled some other pens the other day, but I think I want to work on these. Oh, there's a 51. Small opening. You got that. Now this one's got the open, but it says right here, Parker 51. Different plastics. All right, this is kind of a hodgepodge here. This is kind of a nice, I like these. I didn't used to like them. Schaefer touchdowns with steel nibs. Well, it actually has probably a decent sack, but we'll replace it anyway just to make sure. We got a Conway Stewart. This is for you, Juicy. It's nasty looking. It needs a polish. It needs a clean. It needs all sorts of stuff. But this nib looks like it could be really pretty super. Nice and broad. Yeah, Glenn. That's it. Best if it's an extra and you only pay for what it was with. Yeah, that's the way to buy 21s. We got a decent looking Skyline, wide band. Actually kind of nice patina on here. I might leave that. Got that striped cap. But what looks like a stub nib. So that'll be fun. And then I don't think it's a Duro nib. No, it's not a Duro nib. It's too small for that. It's what is this? A 28? 24. And then I've got this Eversharp. I can never remember these. Is this a... It's not the Symphony. It doesn't have that slipper cap, but is it a Lowy? Lowy Designs? Underappreciated for sure. Well, look at that. These might actually be fine. We're just going to test those. I got those at the Baltimore show from somebody who's fairly reputable. So, well, fairly, it is reputable. But I know how it is. Sometimes you put stuff out and you don't remember when you last restored it. This Conway, I got it in a different lot, so this definitely needs to be restored. It's been sitting in the bottom of somebody's desk for a long time. And we'll try to get the hood off of this 51. So this is the rare occasion that we actually have a connector here that your housing is loose on. It's almost never the case. It's always so it's making this difficult because I'm trying to rotate this off, but I got to hang on to it. So even on Aerometrics, I like to take the hoods off, make sure that collector is free and clear of any old dried ink. Even if you can fill it up, you don't know what's in there. There we go. And this one will probably be as clear as can be. Oh, it's got some nasty ink in there. So this will be a good. Good one to clean. Now, if we're lucky, this is the height of nerdery right here. Sometimes Conway Stewart sacks are marked. This one is too destroyed to even see. Cut this old sack off, and then we can drop this in the ultrasonic. I have the, but it's probably the matching pencil to this on my site right now, but selling sets is a real, not many people want both pieces. And some people may actually only want the pencil because they've already got the pen. So I broke this one up. There was no box or anything like that. So, well, let's see what that looks like when it gets out of. Drop that in there whole. We may put that in the Dr. G's later. Oh, we said that already had. Those we're going to try before we. Yeah, this has got the original O-ring in here, so we're just going to replace everything at once. And usually you know they're original because they're this kind of ivory white with the flat profile. So even though this looks good, I don't really trust it for another however many years. Was inked, we'll drop that in there. There's about a half an ounce of ink in this inside of this Conway cap. All right. Let's get this barrel together, get some parts here. So we need, looks like a small ring. First order of business, remove the cat hair from the O-ring. There we go. Oh. If you're a cat lover, you might like some of the new Tasha inks that just came in. 3 of them have cats on the boxes. And they're new bottles. So they're round instead of square. And the bottles have a sticker on it that has the design on the box, so that's kind of cute. 40 ml bottles. Not surprised that there's a little ink in this cap. Caps get missed a lot. What I forgot to mention regarding the Sailor anchor drop. Last month there were only broad and zoom nibs available. This time around there's only medium, fine and medium nibs available. Nothing finer, nothing broader. So I got my tracking. It's coming from California, so it'll probably take, it won't be this week. Early next week, probably. But once I get them up, or once I actually get tracking, I'll have them available on the website so people can kind of see if they want to actually. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. If they want to think about it or not. You know, this one I'm just going to dump in the ultrasonic. Anybody know anybody with an issues GWH? That's whose pen this was. Oops. All right, let's see what we got here. Forgot about that cap. Oops. So we're definitely going to spin that one out. I sort of remembered it on the way home yesterday. I put the car in reverse and I was thinking, did I pull that cap out of the ultrasonic? He's like, well, do you want to turn around? I'm like, no, I'll remember tomorrow. Well, that's pretty clean. It looks pretty good, huh? We got a sterling silver breather tube. get as much of that out of there as possible. All right. Same with this Conway cap. Still a little bit in there, but it's a whole lot better. This trim is heavily brassed. I'm betting that the nib is going to make up for the ugliness of the trim. I got most of it out, but I think I'm going to put it in the Dr. G's now. And I can see a little bit right there where the breather hole is. I can see some ink coming out already. What I ought to do, which would be incredibly effective, would be to put some into a shot glass and then put it inside the ultrasonic. A little bit of something in the feed there, so while it may not have completely hampered performance of the pen, It's also not supposed to be there either, so always good to take them apart. All right, that looks good. Not even recognizable. All right. Oops. This is my little tube slipped out. So that's good. I think there's not much in here, but and this is an SF1, so it's a slightly soft, flexible nib. I guess I'll just use a scissors. I don't need this. I bet this cap is super clean. Well, it's not too bad. I've seen worse. This pen wasn't used very much. Or more unlikely, it was kept very, 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 very clean. In there, I am going to knock this nib out. Still got stuff going on here. It's a little too big. All right, let's see what we got. Nice number 5 nib. Yeah, that looks good. This pen might turn out all right. Hmm. This is going to be fun to use. These Conways with these huge nibs are just awesome. So much fun. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is that did the trick. There's really not much else coming off. Is it difficult to replace a Conway Stewart lever box? Never done it. Something tells me it's probably a pain in the butt. Only because those ends of those tabs are ridiculously thin. And you got to press down to get it out. Would not be something I would want to do. You have one to do? Good luck. I remember once trying to fix a completely busted relief button filler once. Like, boy, these things are well made, but holy cow, they were not really made to deal with a lot of replacement action going on. I was just reminded of a funny story. I was surfing eBay the other night, and I may have had a beverage, adult beverage, and I saw a nice vintage pen, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to bid on this. And as usually happens, I put in, sometimes I just put bids in, like, like I'm sure the rest of you do, just to kind of keep an eye on it. And well, I'll put a bid in for $52.08. If I could win it for $52.08, that would make my year. There's no way I'm going to win that. And I put in 5208 and hit bid. And then the panic that overtook my body when I realized I had just bid $5,208. Yeah. I go, oh shit. And for a second there, I thought, you know what? Hey, this could be fun. Let's just see if this thing, where this thing ends, because no one's going to, the problem is if someone else says, you know what, I'm going to bid 4,500 because nobody's, that way I make sure I get it, because no one's going to bid more than that. And I'm like, oh shit, how the heck do I retract this bid, man? Because there is no way. Because at bare minimum, the pen's probably going to go in the neighborhood. It could realistically go in the neighborhood of $400, $500, $600. It could go more. But I don't need somebody else to have bid a stupid amount like that. And then all of a sudden we got a problem on our hands. Yeah. Oh no. I was able to retract the bid, but it was kind of like, after that, I'm going to have another drink and put down the phone. Like they're not gonna get it anyway, right? Because there wasn't $5,000 in my bank account, in that bank account, to take the money from. But that'll wake you up, man. I tell you what, that will wake you up. I haven't done anything like that in a long time. So what did I buy it for? I just got a notice right now that it ends tonight. Yeah, we learned a long time ago. Don't drink on eBay. Yeah. Good luck. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna forget about it the minute I leave here. We did that already, didn't we? But it was just kind of funny, like, oh, snap. We would do it in, you'd have a beverage or whatever at the Columbus auction at the end of the year, but excuse me, and we always used to say don't drink a bid, but at least in a live pen show auction, it's impossible to bid 100 times what you intend. You have forgotten you ordered some Amazon until it got there. Oh, yeah. Of course, I hate it because the notice they just sent me said it's the current bid price is really, really stupid low. You have thrown some bids out then, forgotten, then later realized I really didn't want it after you won. It looked good at the time. Yeah. I don't know. This is I have a I kind of have a knack for seeing the beauty under some ugliness. You know, my last house when I if you see pictures of my last house when I bought it, most people like would have run. I mean, it was something fierce. So you won your first wherever? Yeah, nice. But I could tell that there were good bones there. And this pen's got good bones. All right. That part's good to go. You do the minimum bids, yeah. You know, there's also that handy little feature called watch. You know, I could have just as well done that, but I tell you what, I can't believe tomorrow's Thursday already. You hate when you have multiple bids going and then you get them all, then you have to find the cash. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like what I hate about live auctions sometimes too, because you know, like at a pen show. You know, because I got to look and I say, okay, well, there's like three things I really want. You know, maybe there's like, let's just say there's 8 pens that I would bid on in this auction. Then you got to determine, well, what do I really, really want, as opposed to, you know, where is it in the auction? You know, you know, do I think I'm going to get it? And so sometimes you have to say, okay, well, the piece that I want is like number 30 out of 100. But if I go deep on that, I might not get the one that's number 95. And by the time we get to number 95, is everybody else going to be spent out by that point anyway? And maybe I can get number 95 for, you know, way under market, or maybe not, you know, because the later it is in the auction, the better chance you have of half the crowd not being there because they're tired. It's, you know, it's 100 auction lots. But pretty much anybody who's there is going to be there for number 30. You know what I mean? You can't believe it's April already. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for the next couple of days. Finishing our taxes tomorrow. Taking my car out of storage on Friday. It's maybe a little early, but my storage rental fee goes up like what does it go? Like 50% if I go past Sunday. So I don't want that. You can't believe it's 2026. We were gonna go pick up the car tomorrow night, but since it's over on that side of town, but it looks like there's gonna be potential for freezing rain tomorrow. Probably not the best idea to be. Yeah, getting a vet. It's probably not the best idea to be driving a vet on icy roads. So we decided we'll do it on Friday after the podcast. It'll be light out, and that way, if I have any issues with the battery, which has been charging in my garage since I don't know when, we'll have time to go to buy a new battery or whatever we need to do. But I'm not taking a 50% increase in storage rental fee for one more month. I'm determined to drive it more this year. It would almost be impossible to drive it less. Let's put it that way. All right, that looks good. Yeah, these are good. David, you look like you missed a lot of fun. Well, let's see. 452.5 V went back together. Thumbs up. Doesn't hold a lot of ink, but it went back together. A 21 with the cracked hood. Surprise, surprise. Snorkel desk pen. Went together. Found some parts. The Conklin 56 went back together. Wrote pretty well. Well, did we write with it? We did write with it. Yeah, it's got a little flex to it. Not bad. If you had a hood without a crack, that would have been a shot. And in fact, I didn't even put a piece of tape on it. Shame on me. Let me do that right now. And the best part is, I was looking down here for the crack, and the crack starts here and goes all the way to like about here. You chuckle at that crack coming. And thanks, Russell. The most important part of the live stream was Lisa stopping by to drop off some Easter candy. Check this out. Kit Kat bunnies. How great is that? A Kit Kat bunny. We got the Reese's peanut butter egg, and then a bunch of these guys. Yeah, I know. I'm totally excited for this stream to be over so I can eat that. It would be rude to eat it in front of you. Oh yeah. All right. There we go. Although it's like redundant, isn't it, on a 21 to mark it that it's got a crack? All right. Let's put these two walls back together, huh? Well, I'm going to clean off this part here to see what we got. Gary on YouTube says he looks forward to an increased Strava session. Well, I've got. I know there's not many for the Zwifters there out there. I'm going to be doing some drop farming tonight, or at least that's the plan. Zwift's big spin going on through a little bit of April. Clean this stuff up. Well, it's getting warm enough now that Lisa and I are starting our walking. We got a nice 2-mile route that we do. We did it about 50, not quite 50 times last year. And we started really late, so I set a ridiculous goal of do 50 miles. 50 miles? Was it 50? Yeah, 50 or 100 miles. I forget what it is. Yeah. It was super nice walking there this morning. Now it's a bit warm. Yeah, the weather today is not as nice as it has been. And the high today was like 38. So, one day this week I'm wearing short sleeves and contemplating shorts. And today I've got, wool jacket and scarf. But yeah, no, it was 100 miles. We did 100 miles over the course of a few months. There were a couple of months where we were 3, 4, 5 days a week doing 2 miles at night. That's hard to keep up, though. This is probably old polish residue. It's stuck everywhere you don't want it to go. If you walk to and from work once a week, you'd have that 100 miles done in no time if you survived it. Yeah. Well, 4.5 miles, so 9 miles a day. Ugh. I'd rather bike that. I know, not the same, right? I don't know, with the impending diet starting soon, I'm sure there will be more walking. Take it easy. Need to get started dinner for the evening. All right, sounds good, Jason. Thank you. There will be more walking on the agenda. Nine and a half miles by bike would be pleasurable. By foot, that'd be a forced march. Yeah, 9.5 miles by bike would be like super easy, and it's a beautiful path too. I really want to do it this year. I'm gonna need to seal that up, but we'll. It'd be a nice stroll by bike. But I got a feeling by week's end, since it's pay week, I was not threatened, but I was informed that the diet shopping was going to begin. I figure it's if we start now, by next October, we'll be where we want to be, and it's cheaper than buying a suit and getting it tailored. At least the roads are clear, so you can walk. There's still I don't know about this one. We'll see. I don't feel a breather tube. We'll see how that works. Usually we got some puddles this time of year. As the ice melts and there's runoff. All right, let's see. Let's make some sense of this mess here. Before I start testing pens. Oh, here you go, David. There's the... Doesn't look too much different. But that nib is just ridiculous. Yeah, it was a good find, wasn't it? I saw it. I just about, it's one of those things where you see it and you look at it and you go, that can't possibly be anything I think it is, because it's too big. It's too, and of course it was turned over. It was turned over like this. So I mean, I've seen thermometer holders and things like that in hard rubber. So I mean, a hard rubber thermometer holder is without question a really cool thing. Yeah, some tiny nib, no nib, what was I doing? I was going to do this because these are done. And then when I saw it, there were no cracks. There was a nib. It's just missing a clip, but it's, the combination clips have been on there combination clips probably been on there 100 years. I mean, when was security? When were security clips made? Actually, there's a patent date on here. 1916 patent date. Oh, and while you're on there, I don't know if you looked, but here's the rest of that oversize. There's the crack in the middle. If you can see that. Nib feed, and then it had a collar. Which surprised the heck out of me. It's the wrong nib. Well, at this point, I might as well put it should have the much longer nib like the oversized flat tops. And I suppose I can't put a standard size section in here or it won't thread, will it? Because then, although it starts threading, the feed's correct. Well, all right then. Well, one out of three ain't bad. Wait, it might not be. All right, well. I don't know what you need to see here. Ah. You think it's for the smaller flat tops? Weird. Well, all I know is I don't have the parts to put it back together, so I'll measure the diameter. I'll do that later. We'll put these over here for now. I gotta put a sack on that. So it's pushing 5 o'clock. Well, let's do this. Well, time flies when you're having fun. We're gonna get to this one tomorrow. I just don't have time for it today. So tomorrow, someone played around with that pen. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. No big deal. I still think it was a good. I still think it was a good buy. The color is really pretty outstanding. It's very nice. I'd have preferred 20% off instead of 10% off, but you know. Somebody else would have bought this pen for sure. So, yeah, it's worth something. So tomorrow we're gonna test these guys, these two, actually these three. Seal this one up, test this one. We can seal it up. We'll sack up the Conway. We'll see how that's working. We got to clean up this barrel a little bit. We have this desk pen to test. I was hoping to have 2 desk sets at Snorkel. And then I've got a bunch of pens that I had pulled aside last week, 2 weeks ago. To start, and I didn't start, and then I've got a tray of Acumatics over here still. Which is appropriate because I've got a couple of 51 double jewel Vacs that I want to get working on too. So, but I think that's. I didn't realize it was so late. 4:43. So I think I'm gonna end it there for today. Yeah. Have a great night. Thank you. Thanks, David. We'll end it there, and we'll do tomorrow, 1 o'clock. I might start early. I'm definitely going to leave early because I got an appointment with my accountant on the other side of town. And I know some of you are laughing if you know Appleton. It's not that big, but at 4 o'clock. It'll take me 45 minutes to get to the other side of town. I guarantee, because I had to go straight through town to get there. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Gary, make sure to look for that Strava session tonight. I guarantee it'll be probably interesting. Who knows? The rest of you have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.